So hello everybody and welcome to our first PUGs Pro webinar. Today I'm gonna show you how to go from a 2020 drawing to a photorealistic rendering in D5. So you see on my screen, it's D5 render website and you can try it for free. It is free. So you can pay for it or you can use it for free. The only thing you have to take in mind is that you need an RTX graphics card to use the software. When you don't have one, it won't work. So beware of that. So when you scroll down, they're now at version 2.3. Every 3 months, they release a new version. So that's pretty cool with new functions. So you just have to download the software. And what's more important, when you scroll down, you see that you get to the D5 converter. This one is needed when you use SketchUp. So we're gonna use 2020, then transfer to SketchUp, and then we transfer it back again to D5. So you need a D5 converter to go from SketchUp to D5 automatically, but we'll take on that a little bit later. So that's the first. So go to the D5 website, just download software, install the converter, and you're good to go. So let's take off. So this is a normal 2020 drawing. When you take a render fairly quickly, you see I've put in all the cabinets. I put in all the appliances. These are only local. Don't ever use any cloud-based items because it will not work. There is a workaround that we teach, but for now, don't use any of the cloud items and it's going to break down. So you have two options, or you use the local catalogs in 2020 to put in CAD and appliances, or you can do it in SketchUp, what I prefer. But for this webinar, I wanted to let you see how this is the most easy way. So we put in the cabinets, we put in an island, we put in the windows, we put in some spotlights, which we are going to make emissive, so they're going to give a little bit of light in the final render. What I always do also is making a backsplash with the surface tool. So it's much easier in SketchUp and in D5 to put in a really nice style on it. So this is basically what you have to do. So just make your drawing. Also make the walls full, so no openings. It's better the same way like in 2020. It's better for the rendering when everything is closed. You can put in a window at the back here if you want, but I'm doing something else, so don't worry. What do you need to do? So there are two ways you can do an export. So when you go to File, you see Export, Other Formats, and then you have the choice between two formats we're going to use. It's the DEA file and the DXF. So the DXF is a CAD file. I use it mostly because I find it a lot easier to move in SketchUp, but I will explain it in SketchUp itself. Or you can use the Collada files, the DEA files. That has one big advantage. All the colors you put in your 2020 design will transfer to SketchUp. So you don't have to change any colors. You can do it, but you don't have to. So when everything is set up in 2020 and you export it, it will be perfectly exported into SketchUp, and all your colors of your handles, cabinets, countertop, if you want, will be there. So let me show what it will look like if we transfer it. So let's say I've done an export as a DEA and bring it into SketchUp. This is what it's going to look like. So the DEA file brings all the colors I have used in 2020, and it will bring it into SketchUp. So when we're in SketchUp, we have to do some modifications. I will explain it a little bit later. So this is the advantage of a DEA file. What's not an advantage, it's bringing it in like one big model. So it's everything is grouped in one big file. and I find it in a disadvantage. When we look at when you bring it as a DXF, this is the DXF. It's the same kitchen, but it's just white. But the nice advantages you see on my right side. So SketchUp works. They used to call it layers. Now it's tags, and tags are used to put on or put off some items you don't want to see. I can now see on the right side, when you see my tags, I can put off some things, and now I can move in more easily. So I can do some changes on my design. I don't have walls to be there in the way, and when I'm not looking at that. I'm going to use, in the lessons, we're going to use some extensions to color in the model more easily and very fast. So for me, it's not a waste of time, but I find it just easier to do that. What's very important in SketchUp, I will bring back the DA file because I can show it much easier. So you see some faces here are blue. We have to reverse them. It's a problem in a render engine when the faces are not at the right side. It will give you flickerings, or the color is not exposed properly. So before we do anything in D5, we have to clean up all the models. It's a little bit of work, but once you get the hang of it, it's going really fast. So everything that's blue, we have to change. You see mostly is the glass. You see the backsplash here. When I double click on it, triple click, sorry, and I hit reverse faces, then you see a little bit of the backsplash. Don't worry. I'm always giving it some thickness. It has to be, sometimes SketchUp isn't that. So I give it a little bit of thickness, hit enter, and there you go. So that's especially in SketchUp, we have to do some remodeling and some adjustments. That is not the problem. What I usually do is I fix all the problems with the reversed faces, and then start to decorate some things in SketchUp, and I decorate some things in D5. So what do you get in the free version? It's basically a full equipped version, in the sense you can do anything from rendering, making videos, the assets. So they have an enormous library. I believe something like 8,000 items for models and over 2,000 for textures. Most of the textures in the free version you can use, and you can use some of the models in D5. It's only when you have the paid version, it's about $360 a year. So when you combine your cost, that's also one thing. You need SketchUp Pro. You can't do anything what I'm doing now in the free version or in the website version. So you have to pay for it. It's around, I think, a little bit of more than $300. Combined with the Pro version, it's $650 in total for a year to use the D5.
I think, sorry, Jack, I think we found a 20% off coupon code. So it's normally $299 for SketchUp Pro, but it's $269, I believe, with the that.
Yeah, but I'm still using the free version. I think for cabinet makers and kitchen and bath designers, there is a lot to do in the free version. I bought a library myself for D5, so it's, in my case, it's a lot cheaper, but you will see it a little bit later. So this is the important version of SketchUp. So when we go to the finished version, it's something like this. So here I did all the adjustments, making the faces the right time. I equipped the model with some models from SketchUp. So a book, some lighting, etc. The curtains I made. Also at the outside, because we're going to render at the big window here to the outside, I made a plane with some grass color from SketchUp. I'm going to change in D5. And I put in a back wall here with some trees. This you can all download in SketchUp if you want. So it's just when you do a render, you see a little bit of the trees behind. I'm going to decorate a little bit in the back here. And that's all I've done. So I made the glass clear, put some models in it. And then you have two choices. When talk about lightning, you can do everything about lightning in D5 itself, but you can also do it in SketchUp. So when you look at above here, the converter. So the first here, this is the one you connect to D5. So once you're finished in SketchUp, just hit the bottom here. D5 will start, and it will show the screen that is showing now in SketchUp. So that's important. As you see, this is a DXF file, and I can put my ceiling on and off, and it's just for purposes for designing a little bit easier in SketchUp. When you have to go through walls, it's a pain. And when you have to navigate in a model and you see I have to go through it, and once you get a little bit behind, you're closed. So designing from a height, I find it much easier. So you can see everything in the model. I can toggle on the ceiling on and off. And what's more important, and that's something I always do in D5, once you have a setting of a perspective, you make a scene in SketchUp. This means every time when I'm outside the model or in a place where I don't want to be, I just have to hit my scene, and SketchUp brings me right into my scene. This is not the scene for D5, but in SketchUp. So now I have a clear view of my model. When I'm going outside, just hit back the scene and you're good to go. So that's important. So you have a little bit of options regarding lighting. What I have done, and so when you look at D5 is a ray tracing software, so it emits natural lighting. That's the purpose of the software, to make rendering much easier. It's when you don't do anything, light will come in, and you can do a basically very good render with no hassle. What I have done is I always put some rectangle lightnings on the side, so to bring in some light into it, which I can control. I can control the lighting, and I can make it a little bit brighter. So the light from the sun, because we're talking about in D5, it's light that's coming from the sun. It's coming in. I can regulate that, but with an extra plane here at the outside of the windows, I have more control about lighting and how the model is going to look. So I put in a rectangle light in the back because I don't have any windows in the back. So it gives a little bit of light to the island, and I have two rectangle lightnings on the windows. The same goes when we look at under cabinet lighting. So there are two ways you can do this. So you can make in the lightning bar here. So you have a point light, you have a spotlight, you have a strip light, which we use for under lighting cabinets. So you can put it in SketchUp, and you don't have to do it in D5. What I did in the beginning, I just made a small face here and colored it in a special color, which I'm going to make emitting light. It's not as good as the strip light, but it's easy. So you just make a rectangular on the bottom of a cabinet, you give it a specific color, and then in D5 you can give that color an emitting light, and you can toggle on lighting as high as you want. What is very, very, very important, that is that, wait, I'm going out of the model. So what is very, very, very important is everything you want to have a specific color, you have to color it in SketchUp in a different color. So let's say you want everything here so in D5, everything that is gray, that's the only thing you can change in it. This is another color. I can change that into another color. You have a glass color. There's everything that you want to be different has to have another color code if you want. So the countertop has to be in another color. The floors, I'm going to work with 2 types of floors. It has to be different. I can't change anything in D5. When this area had the same wood floor, I can change it in another color. It will color the whole floor. So it's very important to color everything the right way before you bring it into D5. It's also no problem when there is a problem in D5, you go back to SketchUp, you change it in SketchUp, and you just hit the button update, and it will update directly into D5. So don't worry about it. The same, let's say for the recessed spots, and this I did in 2020. I have to show. So I made the outside of the spots a metal color, and the inside I made it yellow. So everything that is this color, I can put on an emissive light. So it gives some light into the render. So lighting is a fairly big deal, but D5 made it especially very, very easy to use. So let's say our model is done. Going back, I'm putting back the ceiling on. So my model is closed. What do we do then? We just hit the bottom here, connect to D5 render, hit it. D5 will start, and it will show you the point where you are. When I was in my scene here, it will show this. When I'm outside my model, it will show the outside of the model. So let's pretend I hit the bottom, and my D5 is ready to go. So this is what you see in D5. So it's the same thing like in SketchUp. I'm going to explain a little bit about the preferences. So on the left side, you have some things, preferences, your files. You can edit something, your views, insert, tool. You can move things, you can scale things. That's important. Preferences here. So you can make your own D5 catalogs if you want. Widgets, I don't have access to them because that's only in the Pro version. On the top, yeah, now I have a problem. Wait, I have to. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Sorry. I'll put that to the side. Come on. My zoom bar is in the way. So at the top, you have everything concerning the lights. So it's the same like in SketchUp. You have a point light, you have a spotlight, you have a strip light for under cabinet lighting, and you have the rectangle lights. So this is for characters. When you do outside renderings, buildings or homes, you can put in people who are moving. You can put a car who is moving, animals who are moving. You have, these are the brush, scatter, and path tools. This is for outside landscaping, for grass, for trees. So you don't have to put in every tree at once. You can scatter it. So when you move your mouse, you scatter all the trees you have chosen around your model. A path, that's what I used here. I made just a path, clicked on the item I wanted, and it will put it there accordingly to the path. So this is the most important thing. So on the right side, you see everything concerning environment. This means everything what's happening with light. You have a geolight. This is the sun. So you see it rotating. You can pick the hour of the day. You can set the offset. You can set latitude. Anything you want to do with lighting, you can do in the geo and sky, or with an HDRI, which I chose for my rendering. So, and the same here, you have some pre-choices. When you want lesser light, you choose early morning, sunrise. So that we're all gonna teach. You can set the light intensity, you can rotate it, the color temperature. That means this affects the color of the rendering. So you want to have it a little bit warmer, you do it to the left. You want something cooler, you put it to the right. Of course, the sun always has to be on. The effects, here we change anything concerning materials. So I've put up some scenes. So this is the scene we used for the rendering. I put some appliances on it. I applied some textures on it, the countertop, the floor. What also is a nice feature now in the new version of D5 Render, gonna get a little bit closer, is that, wait, I have to put my camera. Sorry, my camera, otherwise I can't get close. So now we have a nice new feature in D5, and you can round up some surfaces. So this is the countertop, and we now have round corner. So when we go to effect, I click on the countertop. We have now the feature on the right bottom, round corner. So now you can give a little bit of radius on your countertops, which you can't. It is possible in 2020, but it's difficult to do. You can do it in SketchUp, what I used to do. But now with the new feature, I don't do it anymore in SketchUp. I just hit the things I want to change, click on round corner, and I decide which radius I want to do, and it will round up at anything you want. So that's very important. Going back to my scene. So when I click on a certain surface, wait, I have to the render engine. So now you see everything with a specific color will be highlighted when I click on it. So now you see that the black lines around the models. This means everything in the same color will be the color you choose. So let's try something. So it's my base color here. Let's say I can make it darker, I can make it white. So I have a lot of control regarding my model. This is what I do. It's fairly easy. I even put a light in the range if you want. So how do we do that? So on the left top, you see your assets. I'm gonna put it in the middle. So every model, every texture in D5 is online. So you don't store anything on your hard drive. So let's say these are the materials. So you have to download it first. Or when you have downloaded, you can use it. So you just go to the things you want to change, click on it. It will take on this texture. I'm going out of it. And then you can manipulate it in the effects. So you have fabrics, you have glass, which we use the transparent glass for the windows. You have plastic to make something a little bit more, white and shiny if you want. You have stone textures. So most of these are free to use in the free version. So you have all sorts of quartz, marbles, anything you want to use. You have wall and roof. So when you want to make your walls concrete, everything is in it. You have your metals for your appliances. If you want darker metals, shiny metals, brushed metals, anything you want. It goes back to leather, floors, stone floor. You have ceramic tiles if you want. So this is so great about D5. It is free, and everything I'm doing now you can use, or you can use seamless textures which you applied in 2020, and just bring him into SketchUp and bring it into D5, you don't have to change. But the most important thing is the textures in D5, they have maps. That means you can give some height to some textures. When you look at the floor and you want to give it height, you need your maps to do that. Your normal maps, diffuse maps, height maps, to change the appearance of the textures you apply. That's something you can't do in 2020. You just apply a texture and that's it. When you look at renderings of countertops and floors, it gets a little bit hazy, so you don't see the real textures of some textures, and I find that a little bit disappointing. So it goes back to wood. When you have a wooden kitchen, acacia wood, so you can choose anything you want, just download it, apply to it, and then when you apply something, the effect will say you can change the rotation of the textures, you can change the size of the texture, anything you want. So you have some models to your exposal, but like I said, when you want to download a thing which don't, this is free. I'm gonna look for something which isn't. So you see it has to load into your view. Let's say, this is downloadable. Come on. This is downloadable. So you see, I click a number of models and you still can use it. The palm tree. Let's see. So then you get a pop-up and it says, this is only for the pro. And here you see it. You can bill it manually, annually for 360, or I believe $39 or $38 a month. So you have your models and you have your particles. And this is nice when you want to make a fireplace. And especially in videos, it will show the flames and it will show the movement, not in a normal render. But these also you can use. It's like what you want. Mostly for interior design, you can't do it. It's you have water drippings. That's a pity. So when you do a bathroom, you can show water dripping out of a faucet. That's not possible in the free version. But for all the things, I didn't have anything which I thought I needed a pro version. So it's up to you. What I did, I bought a local catalog and installed it. So I have a lot of items I use. It can go from animals. We have bathtubs. And the nice thing about it, you don't have to change anything about the colors. It's pre-colored. You just put it into the design and it will render fantastically. Let's look, maybe look at some flowers. Where are the flowers? Here. Maybe, come on. So let's say I want to put this in the model. I'm gonna put it here. And you see directly it's, sorry, camera. So it's all colored, all the texture is applied. You just have to render it. And that's all. So when I do a rendering, the things I do in SketchUp, like these things in the book, I don't have to modify that much. It's also colored. And then I do some nice things in D5, put it onto the design and just render it out. So basically the most difficult part is giving your light, is the lightning, and put it in the right way. I can delete this so we don't have to use it. So this is the render picture, and when you want to do a render, on the top you have image, you have video, and you have render queue. So just click on image, and then you see at the bottom, you can do different things. You have your windows, you can do a preset size, but then you see that the window is based on what you see in the light. So the top and bottom won't be visible in the rendering, the final rendering. You can do a 4K up to 16K, and also in the free version. So you don't have to have a pro version. What I usually do is, let's say I want to do a 4K, I click on window and I give here just 4069, hit enter. It will automatically put the height as it has to be. You have your channels. So this is for people who want to use Photoshop. And yeah, you have AO maps, materiality, reflections. When you want to do some changes in Photoshop, you can render the channels with them. I don't do that. And the only thing you have to do then is render it out. So let's do a quick render window. When you hit the window and you don't change here the width and the height, it will be a 2K. Just hit render. Let's say go to the file you want to save it. Just save it, and it will take about, depending on the the reflections on the lights coming in, about 40 seconds. So now it's giving me an estimated time remaining. It's time for me to drink. So the fuller your design is, the more items you have it in, the more time it will take to make a render. But it's still very, very fast. So I have an RTX 3060 with an i7 12th generation processor. So it's a speedy machine. So let's wait until it's finished rendering. But I still think it's a lot faster than 2020, especially with all these models in the render window. It's almost finished. So now you can just click open folder. It will bring you to the folder which you have chosen. And this is the render. Let's say 120 seconds, minutes. And it's gorgeous. So what I usually do is make some test renderings in the beginning to see if my lighting is a little bit correct. Don't do it at 4 or 6K. Just take the standard size, which will do it within 1 minute in the beginning. And then you can test your lighting that's coming in. So it's much easier. And once you have done that, you set up your scene, and the scene will automatically know every preference you put into it. So you see also on the outside of the window, you see my trees in the background. You see some hatches here and the grass I put in. Yeah, an animal, nice floor. So that's my rendering.
Jackie, I'm just gonna, there's just a poll with 3 questions I'm gonna launch. I don't know where it's gonna launch. I don't know if it's gonna cover the screen, but I'll just hit launch. And I think, folks, if you look down at the bottom, I think there's a poll. If you wouldn't mind going in and just answering a few questions. Appreciate that.
So can I go on or?
Yes, nope, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go out of the render engine. A nice feature also in D5, which 2020 doesn't have, is the video. And I like it really a lot. So the only thing you see the bar on the bottom. So I have some shots, some random shots. This took me 30 seconds to just pin out some shots. You can put in the seconds between the shots, how long it will take. So just when you are in the render window, just take another position, put it as a shot 2. When you change anything, you can update it, and you just can play a video. And then you will see the animal is moving, which in the normal render doesn't do, especially. That would be great.
And this would be this would be smoother if it was locally on your local computer, folks.
Yeah.
This is because it's being beamed, and I'm not joking. It's actually being beamed up to satellites, and then because Jackie's in Spain, in case you didn't know that, and he has satellite internet, and it's being sent back down to us. So it's a little bit choppy looking, but it doesn't
Is
look
it
like
choppy?
that on his end. It is, but it's just because of Zoom.
Okay. I'm gonna try the 4K. So what we're now seeing in D5 is just in a low resolution, and it will you don't have to render it out, but it just will show how the video will look and how the movements are going. You can also make videos with disappearing materials, that the face comes out of the ceiling or out of the floor. Anything is possible. I'm not going to do that, but you can do it if you want to give a little bit of, yeah, how do I say it, attraction to your videos. So anything is possible. So I made a video, it's 4K. It takes about, I think it was around 35 minutes. And it's 620 megabytes, so it's a long video. Let's see what it does. Wait, gonna start off.
What you might, Jackie, what it might do is stop your share. There's a checkbox that says optimize for video. Optimize, I believe it's, let me just look at mine and see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop your sharing really quickly. Yeah, optimize for video clip. If you
Where do I find it?
In the share window. So when you go to share your screen, it says screen 1, whiteboard, and all that stuff. It's at the bottom. It says optimize for video clip. That might, oops, I didn't mean to share. Sorry. So go ahead and
wait. So what do we have to do?
So go into your share window. It's going to ask you what you want to share. Down at the bottom,
yes,
there's a little check
optimize
box.
for video clip.
There you go. I think that'll look smoother on our end.
Okay, let's try. So this is a 4K resolution. So you see the quality is a little bit better. Is it chopped now?
It's a little better.
So you see the shining on the.
Yeah, I think what we'll do, Jackie, is I'll upload it to YouTube, and then along with the replay, we'll put the link to the this with it, and then people will be able to open it up in YouTube, and it'll play very well.
Perfectly, no problems.
So I'm wondering if how you and I have never really talked about this, so I'm putting you on the spot. What about the panos? How I know it's got to be faster than 2020 panos.
I haven't checked it out yet.
It'd be interesting to find out, because it's all done locally, right?
Yeah.
Where 2020s is, it uploads to their server, so it takes a really long time to process a pano, like it can be hours. It'd be interesting to know. Maybe we can research and post a pano with the.
No problem.
Yeah.
So by now, this is all I had to tell you guys.
So Barb was just commenting that OMG, the cat's moving. Yep, that's a lot of them. So and Anne-Marie was asking, I was answering everybody's questions that had them in the chat. Anne-Marie asked about the affiliate coupon code. Yeah, we're not an affiliate, unfortunately, but I did find one that was 20% off. So I'll find it and I'll get that out to everybody along with the replay. So let me just go to Q&A. So nobody had really put any questions in the Q&A.
So let's, I'm gonna talk. So you see,
Sandy, yes, it is available for free pug members. Yes.
Yeah. So you see the recessed lights on the ceiling. I put on an emissive light. When I click on it, it pops up. Wait, I have to go to effect. Sorry, inspector.
Nightly, you're right. It's hi Nightly, by the way. It is yearly, it is annual. So it would renew. I'm not sure if it renews at the discounted rate, to be honest. I don't know if that what the question is.
You mean SketchUp?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you use the coupon code this year, right, for 270 or whatever it is does it come through again the next year? And I don't know the answer to that question, unfortunately.
Probably not. Most
yeah
programs
most don't, yeah. So,
but if you watch, they might have a special one or something.
So no questions?
let's see, is that it? Wish we had I was looking for the coupon code. I'll have to see if I wrote it down somewhere. Anyway, we'll find you the coupon code for SketchUp. So I think, in a nutshell, this is, for folks that have a little extra time. It's rendering in 2020 is still going to be the fastest output. If you're in a busy showroom, you're not really going to use this, I don't think, as much, unless you got, practiced it and got really fast at it. But it has so many advantages. The main one is the textures. You can't possibly get the same textures in 2020 rendering as you can rendering in, say, D5 render, for example. And just a little background, Jackie first started playing with
Lumion.
Yeah. And Lumion does not have a free version. They have a free
Nope.
trial, right? Like a 30-day free trial. It's $3,000
you have
a year.
Yeah, but you have a watermark on it.
Okay. Yep. So even during the trial period, you have a watermark on it. It is so much, D5's free. Lumion's $3,000. And the difference quality wise is negligible. And in some ways, it is better.
Interior rendering is better in D5, and it's much easier. So to answer the Linda Davis question, yes, you make the design in 2020, then export it to SketchUp, and from SketchUp you export it to D5.
Right. Yep.
With the D5 converter.
Right. It's a 3-step process. Yep.
Yes. So basically, you need the SketchUp program to convert the files to be D5 compatible. That's correct.
Right.
You can't automatically put a file from 2020 into D5. That's not possible.
Right, because what it's doing is it's great that 2020 can do it. Quite honestly, it's extrapolating all the 3D shapes, including your moldings, including it. So if you're gonna play with this, get familiar with using the Amarok or Top Knobs catalogs, because you get to use real live hardware on these. But you have to get a real. We did a little bit longer series on rendering in our Design PUGs Pro community, where we do weekly workshops. We did a series on that, and we did it obviously in a lot more depth. But the very first one was getting your design ready in 2020, because that's really the most important part of this, quite honestly, is getting everything, getting your toe kicks, your furniture base, your two level stacked crown. All of these things are necessary to get right in 2020 before you export it. So Delinda, to answer your question, no, unfortunately it's not. There's a free version of SketchUp, but you cannot use it because the version that you need, the version that you need to export as is not available with the free version, only with the paid versions.
You can't import a DX7 in the free version, and also not a DA. So to answer Bob Michaud's question, let's see, the time I spent. I think I've spent an hour in the 2020 design, brought it over to SketchUp. Let's say maximum an hour, maximum, and then 30 to 40 minutes in D5 and render it out. So let's say basically around 3 hours.
And you've been doing this for how long? When did you start doing this?
Let's say I'm 3 months.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, Jackie has a little bit more time on his hands than some of us do. So, he was able to, spend a fair amount of time, more time than many of us would be able to, but quite honestly. So Barb said he does have organized selection of favorites, and that's the neat thing with anything, really. You just have your favorites and you just kind of keep them aside, and you're doing these for different people. So if you have the same vase with roses in 5 different designs, your clients aren't going to see that. So that is a really good way of doing it anywhere, including 2020. Sandy asked if you can use cabinet manufacturer catalogs. Yes,
Yeah.
in fact, there are some that are better than others. Dura Supreme, I believe, is one of them. Did we find that Dura Supreme, either Jackie or Karen, that Dura Supreme is a good quality 2020 catalog?
Which one Kevin did?
Kevin did Plain and Fancy.
Yeah, that's a fantastic catalog.
Yeah.
And Candlelight, I like. It's simple,
good.
but
almost all of the master brand catalogs are good. Because they quite honestly have the deep pockets to be able to invest in a good quality catalog, but your door styles are good because there's so many considerations in order to get a good final product. If you're doing a slab door is a slab door. There's not much, difference from line to line. But if you want if you're using a shaker style door with a small detail on the inside, a good catalog will show that detail very well. Another thing too that we didn't touch on, Jackie knows that I'm a stickler for, is they are some catalogs natively will have horizontal grain on the rails. If you're doing wood, horizontal grain on the rails, vertical grain on the stiles. That's very important for a realistic looking rendering at the end. Yes. Because you have to be able to have the horizontal on the rails, the vertical on the stiles. That gets a little bit trickier, and we didn't really touch on that. But so Niley, no, unfortunately, I don't think any of us have worked with any of those. But usually, if you find out where the catalogs are, who makes the catalogs, if it's 2020 in-house or if they use an independent catalog creator, there are some good catalog creators and there are some bad catalog creators. Unfortunately, 2020 ones are usually pretty good. But the best bet is just experiment with it. Check out the different door styles. Go zoom in hidden line mode and see what the detail on the doors is and see if it matches real life. And that the molding profiles, there are only so many molding profiles in 2020, so they're not all totally accurate, but some of the better catalogs will have some good molding profiles that are pretty close to accurate for the.
Or you can use the designer catalog and make your own.
Right.
door.
Right. Yeah. And that was Sandy's question. If the designer catalog from 2020 is actually really good. It does inset on the framed. You can create your door style. It's pretty detailed. But yeah, preparing your design in 2020 is really the most important step.
So another thing.
I was just going to say real quick, because Jackie had mentioned, don't decorate it in 2020 and bring the decorations into SketchUp.
Never.
So, yeah.
So what I usually do, I do all the decoration and also the appliances in SketchUp, because when I look at it, when you use 2020 and you bring a SketchUp file into 2020 and you export it back, it comes out not so good. So the same thing, the same file in SketchUp is better brought into SketchUp than bring it into 2020 and then back into SketchUp. So, but that's what you want when you want to do a quick render and basically make it, let's say 90% photorealistic. You can do it the easy way and do everything in 2020. Just bring it into SketchUp, do some adjustments, bring it into D5 and do your rendering. So So what we are talking about is now when people are interested in this, then we're going to, let's say we're going to make some, Colin.
Yeah, so no, so a few things that that we offer. I think many of you, some of you are in our pro community, and thank you for being members of our pro community. But we do have our pro community that is just kind of goes the next level. We do live workshops twice a week. We do 2020 and other technologies that are surrounding 2020, like the SketchUp and the D5. And we do those every week and record those. And then every Thursday we have Karen has guests. She does workshops on all different products, on cabinetry, on just anything that's industry related. So we have that available. We have a free membership that gets you to be able to watch the live webinars, and then there are various paid levels that allow you different ways of watching the replays. And then, as Jackie was just mentioning, we are going to be doing some live trainings that will be held via Zoom, similar to this. It'll be more interactive. It'll be a Zoom meeting rather than a webinar. So people will be on camera and have microphones. And these will be step-by-step trainings, and everything from, as Jackie was saying, from rendering, so giving you live training on preparing your 2020 design, bringing it into SketchUp and then into D5. Also more basic things, just basic 2020 stuff. So those are things that we're going to be launching this fall. Is that what you were referring to, Jackie?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, so live we're going to do them on a revolving basis. So we will have like 1 week will be one type of thing. We'll do like 2 4-hour days. So you can, there's 8 hours in one day is too much. You need to have time to process and maybe even practice. So, we're thinking of like maybe a Monday, Wednesday, if you were doing, say, a D5 class, that sort of thing. So that, keep an eye on that. We'll be bringing that out sometime later this fall.
So I'm gonna share one more rendering to let's see how good it is. So
and the office in my background,
yeah,
Jackie did.
Yeah,
Jackie did that in D5.
Well, you helped.
I would do it better now, Karen.
It's pretty good. Although I still want my draperies back.
So this is the design I did also in D5, and when I just go to the lighting, look at this. I find it mind-boggling. So how clear the textures are. Yeah, it's the problem for me now when doing renderings now in D5. I hate renderings in 2020. Sorry.
You're spoiled.
Yeah, but
it's like watching a big HD 4K TV and then going and watching a little tube, like a 13-inch
VHF.
VHS, VHS tape. I mean, it's you kind of can't unsee it. You can't you just get used to it. So does anybody have any other questions? Feel free to put it into the we're coming up on just about an hour, so we are going to be wrapping up, but I will find the coupon code for the D5, sorry, not D5, SketchUp. Remember, D5 is free, and you can just buy packages with the shapes and decorations, things like that, without actually having to pay for the full version. And if you want to check out, so our website, I'll put it in the chat, is designpugs.com. That's our website. And then if you want to check out what we offer, which includes the pro group, you can go to designpugs.com/pro, and there are a few different options there. So Yeah, so I believe that the replay will be sent to you in an email. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but we'll also get you the coupon codes and anything else that we talked about. We will get you. So if that's it for Jackie and Karen, that's it for me. Thank you everybody for attending. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
We will see you all soon.
Take care.
Take good care, everybody.
Bye-bye.